For those who saw the first video of me changing the rollers to Dr Pulley Sliders, you'll have seen it was quite a chew on and it took me probably a couple of hours. Since then I've put the rollers back in and found a much better improvement in the performance, and also a much better way of taking the transmission cover off. So I'm going to do it again with the new method, and I think I'll put the sliders back in just to prove that that wasn't the problem last time. So yeah, let's crack on. I'll show you the tools first. Okay, so for this job you need a torque wrench, definitely, with a 19mm socket. I believe the small engines use a 17mm socket. You need a clutch holding tool. You need a variator locking tool, which on the 300 has these two small pins, as opposed to, I believe, the 125 has the pins in a different position. You need a different type of variator locking tool. To tighten the bolts you need a little Allen key. You need a 8mm deep socket, thin socket, a little ratchet, extension to get the transmission case bolt off, of which there are 10. Flat blade screwdriver to take a little cover off there. Crosshead screwdriver to take off the air cooling duct system. Two 13mm spanners to take off some bolts, which make access a lot easier, and something like pliers or eagle beaks to bend the bracket. Obviously you need your new pulleys and your new belt if that's what you're changing. So that tools you definitely need. Some nice to haves are an impact driver, some coloured paint pens to mark up your washers and your bolts, some Loctite when you come to put everything back together again, some masking tape to cover the sharp edges, some emery paper to scuff up the surfaces of the pulleys, make sure that belt grips nicely. Obviously then you're going to have to clean all the grit off, all the dirt off, some brake cleaner and some cloths to clean it all up. As you can see, I've already taken the airbox off. It's just 3 bolts, it really is simple. 1, 2, 3 bolts and it's away. Now I've got the Tasso air sock on, and I've just took that off for now as well, to make it a bit more visual for you. You don't have to take that off, but it makes it a bit easier. Right, the first thing, the simplest thing, is just take this little plastic cover off. It's just 3 little pegs and some rubber grommets. Put that out of the way. Then we'll take this air cooling duct cover off for a bit more space. You'll see later on. And that's just 2 little screws. We've got to take the dipstick out, oil dipstick, to get this cover off. Whatever you do, do not drop anything into the engine. So try and keep that dipstick covered as much as possible. That's the little filter. Right, you probably heard me whinging about this running frame. You can't dismantle it, but you can make it a lot easier. There's a bolt there and there's 2 bolts under here. So I'll take this one off first. And you need to undo these just to give it a bit more space. And there's so 3 13mm nuts in total. Right, the other one's under here. So if I can just quickly show you, can you see those 2 nuts there? 1, 2, 13mm nuts. And this is the secret. It's an extra couple of minutes. Well, an extra minute's work, maybe, but it makes the job so much easier. There's one. And the same as the one above, so you don't have to worry about getting them mixed up. 2. They're out now. Now if you notice this time, how much more free space we've got. We've got so much more free space. Next thing I guess we'll take out the 10 bolts, which if you've got your ratchet you can use, but I'm going to cheat a little bit and just use my drill driver. Remember there's a little clip on that one. Nine. And 10. This last one just here has a vent clip and the brake hose clip. Remember to put them on. This bracket is just not quite letting it get past, which is absolute pain. So I'm just going to bend that with some eagle beaks. Okay, all the bolts out. We're now going to take this driven pulley nut off before we get the case off. And here comes our clutch holding tool. Goes in there and it locks into place. If you just turn the wheel a little bit, you'll feel it lock into position. Just undo this one. And I've marked this up with a bit of paint so I know which one it is. There's a washer in there as well, that'll fall out when you take this off, no doubt. Take the dipstick out. Good level of oil in there. So there's the washer, keep them together. Right, so this is the awkward bit. Takes a little bit of jiggering about. Put plenty of tape over that edge. Should really put some tape over here as well. But it will come out a little bit easier. How about that there? Couple of minutes. That took me 2 hours. Well, took me a good 30 minutes anyway. Right, so when you've got this cover off, the clutch, take it off with a bit of sandpaper, emery paper. Just roughen up that inside a little bit. So these pads can actually grip. Doesn't need much. Remember to give that a clean out with some brake cleaner. Give the pads a little bit of a rough up as well. Just helps to get the belt gripping a little bit more and the drive gripping a bit more. So this is where I wish I'd bought the tool with 2 arms rather than 1 arm, and it's just a bit stronger, because that puts a lot of pressure on this one little nut and bolt here. A lot of pressure. So get it lined up. Screw this in. and make sure you screw it on tight, not loose, otherwise you'll risk damaging the thread in there and the bolt. Okay, that's the variator tool in place, locking the variator. Right, put a little torque wrench in there and carefully undo that nut. That saved me so much time, this tool. Brilliant little tool. The nut, which I've marked up obviously, like I always do. So nut off, somewhere safe. The fan comes off, and if you notice again, there's a big thick washer with a beveled edge to it, and under that is a normal washer, and we keep them in order. They've got to go back the right way. Belt can come off with the whole clutch, so it's all out the way. And again, this is, you can just change the belt. When you put the belt back on your new belt, make sure the arrows, I don't know if you can see or not, but there's some arrows just there, they go in the direction of the pulleys. And again, just roughen up around here and make sure you clean off with some brake fluid before you put it all back together again. So now we have the variator, and in here are the rollers. So we'll take this little boss out, then just bring the rollers out. Can we get everything together? Try and keep everything together so the rollers don't fall out. There we go. And underneath we have, I don't know what you call it, the riser, which slides up and down. Put them to one side, and the rollers. And they've got a certain way to go in. But yeah, we don't need to do that now because we're going to put the sliders back in, which also have a certain way to go in. We'll give this a little bit of a clean up. Give everything a little bit of a rub up, just so the belt grips a bit better. Don't want the belt slipping. Do it on both sides. And like I say, it doesn't need to be much. We've done the clutch plates. And then just clean everything up a little bit with some brake cleaner. And we did the brake clean. We did the clutch pulleys earlier. No need to show you that, but it's the same type of thing. Right, our sliders. Oh, while I'm messing about, put that dipstick in. Dr Pulley Sliders, black pearl sliders. These come with a 2mm washer, very important. We don't want that belt sliding too far up and off the roller. Before we put the rollers in, just give that a really good clean inside. And the boss. So when I put these in the first time, I put dry lube on them, but there's no instruction to actually say do that, so this time I'm just going to put them in, and they go a certain way. So you can see that where it says Dr Pulley, you have to be able to read them. So that's how they go. Right, so they're all in. You can read Dr Pulley on each of them. If you spin it round you won't be able to see it, but you can read Dr Pulley on them all. So that's right. We've now got our slider to put back in. There we go. That just goes on the locating columns, and then we can just stick that back on. All in place, nice and tight, all nice and clean, scuffed off a bit of grip onto the thread, onto the cog. We've got our boss. Keep everything nice and central. Okay, so drive belt next. Just remember to get those arrows lined up. Now if you can see there, it needs to go a little bit further in to reach over. So what you do is you pull these two together. As you're doing, you need to twist it. If you can see, like that. Then you put the belt in. So belt close. Doesn't have to go in very far. Oh, might need to go a little bit further, but we'll see how that goes. Slide that on. Alright, that's all the way on. We'll add the pulley over there. Now this is where the important washer comes in. That comes in with the Tasso kit. It's a 2mm washer. And that will just keep these apart a little bit. So now fan goes on. Alright, that's all the way up. So if you remember the order, we have the flat washer and the beveled washer, which I think is a type of locking system. Now if you want, you can put a bit of Loctite on now. Bit of Loctite. Doesn't need much. Same on this one actually when we come to doing it. Put a little bit more. And then we need to torque this up. So we need our tool back on now. Just get that in line, turn the engine round. A bit of compression on the engine, don't trap your fingers. It's easy to do. Don't think we're quite in line there. Always do it by hand first, so you know you're not going to cross thread anything. And again, nice and tight. Okay, torque wrench set to about 80 Newton meters, which is quite a lot. 80 Newton meters. Right. There we go, that lovely satisfying click. 80 Newton meters. Dipstick back in. Take the Variator locking tool off. And that's it really. That's the rollers changed and the belt changed if you wanted to change the belt, but it's quite a new belt anyway. Alright, so just remember, give it a good clean. Get all the dirt out that you've created with your emery paper. Stick that over there. Alright. This is only a lower torque, so I am going to put some Loctite on this one. Like I say, the Variator pulley, that system's a locking type of system anyway. Have a good look around, belts in place. Next thing is the transmission case cover to go back on. Took me ages to get this back on the first time. The second time I brought it in from the top, but I still find it's easier to bring it in from the bottom. Take our dipstick out again. Have to be really careful. Get that little dowel in, and that's it. How much easier is that? Let's put that in for now until I put the air duct back on. That's it, it's done. Bolt next. Our washer, which we marked up so we know it's the right one, and our nut, which we marked up so we know it's the right one. Stick. Right, get our clutch locking tool in. Get it locked. Now this time we're only going to between 45 to 50 Newton meters. 45 to 50, which isn't a great deal. Not a great deal. Oh, I can't be 45 to 50 Newton meters. That was quick, wasn't it? I'm going to check that with my new torque wrench when I get that back. Okay, 10 bolts next. Stick the 10 bolts in for the transmission case. Start with this one so I don't forget about the clip holding the ABS wire out of harm's reach. You'll also see I've actually clipped it, tie wrapped it into position as well. Keep it safe. Just get them all by hand. No particular order. No particular order to put these in. Or if I do tend to go diagonally, just out of, I don't know, good habit I suppose. Just one there. One at the back there. Then I have the two yellow ones at the bottom. See, I'll just put a bit of yellow paint on them, just to remind me. So the brake cable and that little vent. Nice. Tighten them up now. We'll cheat a little bit. Right, I've previously set the torque on that, so I know they're the right setting. It's not very much. I think it's about 10 or 11. Next is the air cooling duct filter. I'll take that dipstick out again just for 1 second. Put that into place. Dipstick in. Right. 2 screws. And underneath. Next is this bracket, which was the saviour of the day. Remember, there's 3 bolts, one at the top, 2 underneath here. These are locking nuts, so they ain't going anywhere. Right. You see what I've done with my spanner, by the way? Look. T for tighten, L for loosen, because it's a ratchet. T for tighten. Just little things make jobs a lot easier and a lot quicker. That's one. That's it. Done. As simple as that. All I'm going to do now is put my little ram air sock back on. And then we're laughing. All done. Job's tea cake. Right, that was it. How much easier is it loosening this bracket off? It now is only a 20-30 minute job now to change those rollers, or to change the belt, or even to change the clutch plates. So yeah, much easier. Thanks for watching as normal. If you found it useful, please give me a thumbs up, a like. It does mean a lot to me. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to see the rest of the videos on the Royal Alloy and of course the old Lambretta. Thanks for watching.